indeed, because we're going to be talking about matters money. And I don't know if they're feeling amazing, but I think they are amazing women. And we're going to be having a conversation about money. And you might remember Wejpe, Madame Wejpe, let me call you like that this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, from last week where we discussed about matters, what Wejpe is all about, and the kind of services and products that they offer to their customers. But also we spoke about unhealthy money habits. And she promised, and actually you're one of the few Kenyans who promises and delivers.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to know that. Yeah.
Because we know our Kenyans, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying specifically who promise and they
don't
never
deliver.
deliver.
Yeah.
So you even delivered within, before the 7-day mark.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
You have brought a financial therapist on set for us this morning to get to understand the psychology behind money and why anybody whatsoever needs to go see a therapist when they make a little bit of money, kwa sababu unaweza kuwa na pesa kwa banki kupatie joto fulani. Professor Hamondi anasemaga unapata pesa kidogo, unapata joto, nataka kufanya hiyo, nataka kufanya ile. So that is the conversation that we're going to have this morning. Because you were with us last week, let me do the honors of giving her the first priority to introduce herself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're going to be talking to us about this morning.
All right. Thank you, Alan.
Yes.
And to our viewers, good morning. And it's a pleasure to be here to just
Most
speak
welcome.
about money.
Yeah.
Because there are many conversations that we have in our lives, but sometimes we find that when it comes to money, we tend to shy away from having those deliberate discussions about money.
Yeah.
And there's a reason as to why, because in some of us, when growing up, money conversations were never given a space.
It's a taboo.
Is a taboo.
Yeah.
Whether it's from the family setup, our social settings, our cultural, religious, whatever space in our schools, discussions about money. We were taught how to make money, but it ended there. And so how you manage the money, how you multiply the money, and
Nobody talks to you about it.
Yeah, nobody
Because
talks
wazazi
about
wanatuambiaga soma vizuri upate kazi mzuri.
Absolutely.
Advice inaishia hapo.
Inaishia hapo. Yeah, so that is what I do.
Yeah.
My name is Pauline Modoni Kariuki. I am a co-founder at Posterity Wealth Advisors, and this is a space where we empower people to be financially empowered, to be financially literate, and also to have, the emotional part of their money to help them balance between the competencies of good financial disciplines and also the emotional part of them, so that they make sound financial decisions. And so, yes, I'm a financial therapist, I'm a financial coach, and I also train on the space of finance.
That is a mouthful. I don't know if we have enough time to debunk all of that, but we're going to do our level best to get value from this conversation. Mama Wejpe.
Yeah.
Kindly,
Thank you so much.
wale wenye wanakuona mara ya kwanza wakumbushe majina
For
na
those
kazi
who are seeing
unafanya.
me for the very first time, my name is Betsy and co-founder my Wejpe, and also a co-founder at Posterity Wealth Advisory. And I'm super excited today as we are discussing more about financial therapy. And Alan, today will be maybe different because we have Pauline here with us. And when you have a discussion with Pauline, you realize that for us, we try to, we go a notch higher, giving examples, understanding how people are doing it, and giving real examples. And I can't wait to do this and at least help a person understand more, or even save a life that is out there struggling. You don't know what to do. And maybe some of the examples that you're going to share here, you can relate with them. And if you do, then you can always contact us as Posterity Wealth. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And super excited to start this show.
Amazing. If you're excited, now let's start at the deep end. Why is it important for people to get wealthy or rich? Why, where do we get the urge? And I think this will be very important from a psychological point of view. Why do we all urge to have huge sums of money wherever you are? From day one in history, with the story of Cain and Abel, Cain killed the brother because he wanted more from the brother. Where does this urge come from?
like you're saying, everybody needs money.
Do we need or we want?
We need it. We want and we need it
Yeah.
because it is a tool that facilitates life.
Yeah.
And when the money is not there, of course, there are many stressors that come with that.
Yeah.
And even when the money is there, there are also stressors that come with it. And so from a psychological perspective, yes, money is a tool that all of us need so that we can do life effectively and efficiently. So tell me, why do we wake up every day to go to work or to go to our businesses?
Probably to get fulfilled, kuonekana kuna kitu unafanya. Au kai tu hakuna kitu unafanya.
Alafu at the end of the day,
The money is just as a by the way, I would say.
really, and how then will you facilitate your life? So money is an important tool, and it's an important tool for us to be able to do life. And so there are two ways we can look at it. There are those of us who say you are looking to be rich, and those of us who are looking to be wealthy.
What is the difference?
The
Si
difference-
pesa ni pesa.
Pesa ni pesa.
Yeah.
But when we speak about wealth, we say it is a process whereby we are saying that even when you are not actively working
Yeah.
in business or in the employment where you are, you still have means that are still giving you an income. So what we say that we have the active income and we have the passive income. So that's a wealthy person that you've already been able to put up investments that are giving you money that even when you're not actively going to work, that you can still be there. So there are those who are rich, but money is stashed somewhere. But it is not really giving you, a return or an income even when you're not actively there. So it gives you stress instead of giving you peace and fulfillment and security to it.
Yeah, Beth,
Yes.
to you, just a little bit. People come to you,
Yeah.
to My Wage Pay,
Yeah.
to get money. Why do people come? What are some of the craziest, for lack of a better word, reasons why people come to you to get money?
So it depends, but to me, I see money also as a way of solving people's problems.
I think you lean in a little bit closer to the mic.
Yeah, so I'm saying I see it as a way of like solving people's problems. So to me, if you're able to solve people's problems, I think you're wealthy.
Yeah.
And so back to your question, what you've asked me, people ask me money for what? Some ask for, mostly we fund people who are doing businesses. Let's say you have Mama Mboga who is selling cabbage, all those things from their market.
Yeah.
And also, as I told you, like last time, about the people in the Lake region where they go buy fish, they sell and supply. Then also some people borrow money to pay sometimes school fees for their children, and among others. But also there are some people who borrow money and probably they say they are going to do it to do business, but maybe they'll use it for consumption. Sometimes you're not able to control that 100% because once the money hits their M-Pesa, they can
it's up
decide
to
to
them.
change. Yeah. But for us, we fund people who are doing businesses. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, we can make it as engaging as possible because
Yeah.
you've given us the reason why people need money or why it is important for us to be rich or wealthy. Beth has told us some of the reasons that people go to My Wage Pay to get money. But then before we even start looking for this wealth or before we go to get this money, there are philosophies that we have generated either cautiously or subconsciously. So talk to us, ladies, because you have done this for the longest time. Which are some of the outstanding philosophies or schools of thought that you have interacted with that make up the money mindset of a kawaida Kenyan person? Yeah, kawaida Kenyan person, I mean ule mtu mwenye ako kwa ground. Yeah, let us not talk about the wealthy of the wealthy because probably those have been able to go through a particular type of training. But Beth last week was talking about the unbanked.
Yeah.
What really makes their philosophy of about money? And I think if we are able to understand that, then we can start debunking what really sets the money habits that we have as Kenyans.
Yeah. So I would say first, I would start by saying that there are these people who have this mindset that money is scarce.
But money is never, money has never been enough.
Like, money is scarce to an extent that even if you have something, they still feel it's not enough. Yeah, it is a scarce resource. In economics, we say money is it's a scarce resource, I understand. But then there's somebody who has a scarcity mindset.
So there is
scarcity mindset.
There is a difference between a scarcity mindset and the resources themselves being scarce.
Yeah.
There's a difference between...
Yeah, there's a difference. Because now, we all know that the resources are, like money is a scarce resource.
Yeah.
That we agree, 100%. But then there's someone who has a scarcity mindset. And I will give an example. If, for example, you don't believe that you can be able to achieve something, to be able to maybe be wealthy, yeah, you believe that the wealth and having that kind of money, where something like passive income is meant for certain class of people. You also don't believe that you can be able to achieve the good things in life. So you have a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And it is good to understand that even there are people who are rich, but they still have the scarcity mindset, and there are people who are poor, but they don't have the scarcity mindset. So it's all about understanding that it is important to understand where you are. Are you the kind of person who has that scarcity mindset, and how can you be helped? And so one of the ways that you realize that somebody has a scarcity mindset is where probably they have a lot of money in the bank, but they don't want to invest it. They don't want to. They feel like when I use that money, it's going to
evaporate.
Yeah, or I will not have it again.
But we've seen people who have started businesses and they've failed.
Yeah,
so they are afraid.
They are afraid, yeah. But you see, it is not always about starting a business. There are so many things that you can do with money. Let me just use for example. You have put money aside for like 10 years. That money is not earning you interest.
Yeah.
It is the inflation is eating it away, but you don't want to ask for help. You still want every morning, you wake up, log in and find that money. Others cannot even buy themselves shoes or good clothes because they believe that when I use this money, it might, evaporate or something. Let me use that word. So I think it is a mindset, and those are some of the things that maybe today we can discuss. Yeah. Mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes back to, as a person, as a human being, there are different ways that we develop attachment to either relationships, our attachment with our own selves, and now the attachment to money. So there are those people who we say are securely attached to money.
Expound.
And what this means is that whether you have more or you have less, the mindset or your mind frame is such that whatever I have, I can be able to plan and utilize the resource that you have in the most effective way to make me feel independent, secure in my mind.
Yeah.
So Beth has said that it is not about how much money that you have. It is how you plan this money that you have. Because through our practice, we have seen somebody who is earning even 20,000 shillings. And they've been able to build some form of investment for themselves. We have seen people who earn up to 200,000 shillings, 200,000, but they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? The person who is securely attached and they only earn the 10, 20,000, they know that when this money comes first, they also have to pay themselves first, so it can be in form of an investment. So regardless of whether they've eaten, the children have eaten, they've gone to school, or you have to send your parents money back home or support whatever, there's that portion that you've already put aside, because that's the seed that you're planting so that you can have a harvest
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
And we say that always plant your seed. Don't eat your seed because you'll have nothing to harvest at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But sometimes we find that we eat the seed, and then when it comes to the harvest, we have
not
nothing.
harvesting anything.
We are not
Yeah.
harvesting anything. There are those who have a type of attachment. So there's a securely attached who are they don't struggle psychologically
Yeah.
with the amount that they have. Then there are those who are anxiously attached to their money.
Okay, it's getting interesting.
Yeah. Anxious attachment, true.
And I will give the example like Beth has alluded to.
Yeah.
You have money in the bank, but you're always peeping to see in the morning, the first thing is your
You know,
money.
back in 2019,
Yeah.
I received my first payment of a sizable amount of money. I think it was around, I did a consultancy and it was around 60,000 Kenyan shillings.
Yeah.
And exactly what you're saying, I would wake up in the morning just to confirm, is it still there?
Yeah.
In the
fund.
afternoon. But until I ask myself, kwani itakuwa imeenda wapi? Na mimi sijaitumia.
You
Yeah.
Chaitumia,
Yeah.
so they keep checking. You always want to check your M-Pesa statement. You're always going to check if you have
M-Pesa
an
wanakuibia.
ATM. Pengine wamenibia. You want, if you have a bank card
Yeah.
ATM, you're always checking where is an ATM card, machine
Yeah.
that I can go check. That's a form of a money disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a form of money disorder. Yes, the money is there, but the frame of mind that you carry with you and the attachment that you have with this money is that it doesn't settle you. You're always trying to see, you are uncertain, you're insecure about what's happening with that money. We have also some other people who, we say they are avoidant. You are avoiding, so there's an anxious,
Yeah.
Attachment.
attached, but there are others who are avoidant.
They just don't want to see their balance.
You don't want to see.
I think I am at that rate.
And they also don't want to discuss about their money.
They don't even
They don't
want
want
to
even
discuss.
somebody.
Si money
to-
is at a, si money it's supposed, ni pesa ni yangu. Sasa mbona ni kuongelesha about my money?
You see, that is now where we see that now you need a financial therapist, because if you're avoiding to discuss about money, you're
Yeah.
avoiding to discuss about the debt portfolio you have. You are avoiding to discuss how much you earn and how you can budget it and how you can build generational wealth with that money. And actually, you don't even want to know how much is in the bank, or you really don't want to know about it. Then it means that you have a problem. And every time people mention about money, you either run away or you keep quiet. And you really don't want to discuss money.
Yeah.
Then that's a problem.
I do not talk about money with my friends. Do you have anything extra to add on to the avoidant type of person?
Yeah, no, it's exactly what Beth is saying, is
Yeah.
that you find also you do not even want to have an ATM card with you because you don't want to have the temptation of checking the money.
Yeah.
You want to use the hardest ways
To access your money.
to access your
But the
money.
banks have already made it hard to access this money.
Yes, they have, but you see in the frame of mind that you carry with you,
Yeah.
regardless of the options that have been provided, you are wired such that, yes, you can just go online, you can go to through the digital, through your phone,
Yeah.
but you have had a conversation in your mind and you said, I am not going to check on my money. What does that do? Take, for example, in a family setup.
Yeah.
So maybe you have two incomes in the family, but one of you, it could be the husband or the wife, is an avoidant. So you have your family budget.
Yeah.
Probably you do bring the incomes together for you to plan for your family. But there's one who doesn't like discussing these conversations.
So the plan will
And
not be planned.
they cannot even bring their payslip. And probably they will only talk about it when they are crashing. And
When
that
there's
is
a
why-
crisis.
Yeah, and that is why you're finding that most people are getting into depression because they probably took a loan of, let's say, 2 million,
Yeah.
and they are totally unable to pay the payslip.
Medidimia.
Yeah. and they are unable to even sort their bills. And then it reaches a point where they are at the auctioning point, and now that's the time they tell the wife, actually, those guys are outside here, they want to take some things from the house. And that is the time now they sink into depression, and you're taking them to the hospital. And at that point now, when they go and see a psychiatrist, that is when now the psychiatrists recommend a financial therapist for them. But when they were getting married, the very first time they were getting married, they should have discussed issues around money and asked themselves, like, now that you're starting a family, how are we going to be sorting our bills? And what are the sources of income that we have? What are those expenses that we have? How are we going to handle our savings? How are we going to save? How are we going to invest? Because you find that there are some people who get into a relationship and marriage, and one of them is an extravagant person. Yeah, they spend it all, and the other one is a very money avoider, and they don't want, and a miser. So this person, or they even
you laughed. Do you know one?
They don't want to discuss. So you find that it is a marriage setup. Yeah. This one spent all the money, and this one saves all the money. So it reaches a point where now the kids are going to school. And this person has used all his money or her money, and now when the kids are going to school, you don't have money for school fees, food, all those things, Pampers, the baby has been born. And then now at that point, that is when you discuss, how are we going to settle the kids? You're supposed to have discussed, where do we live? Yeah. What kind of rent can we afford?
But you see, Beth, as I'm agreeing with you, and in a marriage setting, this I'm just making a comment before we go back to are those the only three types of people and money, or there are others?
Yeah, they are mainly those ones. We have the secure ones.
The avoidant.
But we also have another characteristic that is very interesting, and these are people who just spend. Yeah,
the extravagant ones that
regardless.
Yeah, I have, I don't have.
I have, I don't have.
I'm going to spend.
I am going to spend. And
so that is a good person to be with.
Well, there's a good part of it, but there's also another part that is not very good, because we find most of the times these are people who get themselves into some risky investments, risky money behaviors, because at the end of the day, they are not driven by a motivation to grow themselves, but it is about habit and other people. It is more of the external validation more than the internal values. Remember, we are saying that money decisions have to align with your core values.
I watched, now sasa hapo naenda kutusaidia. There is a recent conversation that I was watching about on one of the TV stations, and somebody was being asked about the core values of the woman that they want to marry, and they could not explain. And not that I can explain, probably because you've touched on it, you tell us, how does a person identify their core values? I want us to take a break, because there is a sign language interpreter on the other end who probably is under stress because it's so many people that are talking at the same time. But before we go, how then do we grow these habits? How do I decide, or how do I become? Obviously, I do not decide. It's something that happens subconsciously. But which are some of the things that happen to us when we're growing up that shape who we become?
Yeah.
Do we know some? Could you share some of those so that a mother who is watching, a father who is watching, they stop doing those things that are going to impact their children in later years?
Yes, there are some things that happen because as human beings, we are product of nurture and nature. So in the nurturing process, there are conversations or, behaviors that happen in the family that impact how a person or a child, for this case, interprets the concept of money. So there are things like what we said at the beginning, where a child will ask for something, and the only answer they get is a no, 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 no. there's no money for
But I
this.
also don't want spoiled children.
There's a part for spoiling,
Yeah.
but there's also the part
A healthy
of,
part.
There's a healthy, absolutely. Yeah, so they always hear there is no money for this, there's no money, there's no money, there's no money. It could be, I grew up hearing those kind of stories
Yeah.
that there is no money at home, but there's a healthier way of communicating the no. So what happens when you're in an environment as a child where you're hearing no, 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 no? It goes back to where we started,
Yeah.
the scarcity mindset. So even
So money is
as
never enough.
money
Because
is-
wakitu tunajua hakuna pesa.
hakuna na hakuna.
Yeah.
In some situations, for sure, there is no
Absolutely,
money.
yeah.
But have that conversation. What we have, this is what we are able to do at this particular point. And this is this we are not able to meet. Maybe the child needs a bike
Yeah.
because every other child
Has
in
a
the
bike.
instate has a bike.
Yeah.
But as a family, whether it's a single income family, a double income family, maybe they are not able to afford. Instead of just sending the child away and saying, hakuna pesa,
Yeah.
you know, and they come and they ask for another toy, hakuna pesa hii pia.
Ama babaka kirudi endo mwambie.
Enda umwambie, yeah. It is, I always recommend that we begin those money conversations from a family level. When you tell your child that you cannot afford a bike at this particular point,
Yeah.
why can you not afford? So that child starts internalizing.
Are we aware enough, and do we have enough awareness to be that open to our children to say baba sahi haiwezekani kwa sababu X, Y and Z?
We are not yet there.
Yeah.
They are those who are doing it, but we still have a very long
very long way to go.
A very long way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of money conversations beginning from a family level. And children are growing nowadays at a very fast rate, and
Absolutely.
they're getting, they're grasping a lot of these
Yeah.
things. So age-appropriate conversations when it comes to money. So we had talked about those people who are always spending and their core values, but we look at it once we come back
Yeah.
about what informs the core values.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beth, you
Yeah.
had something to interject before we go for the break.
Yeah, so I would say for the kids, it's good, as she was talking about the nature and nurture, start it early so that now they understand what is actually what we say yes or no, and let them understand. Mostly we say for basic needs, they are the needs and wants, differentiate that so that this kid is able to understand that if it's a want, we can budget for it, we
Yeah.
can plan. If it's a need, then we can sort it now. For example, if the kid says they are hungry, you
Yeah.
tell them,
You cannot tell them honestly.
yeah, you will cook and
You cannot
prop-
put njaa on hold.
Yeah, yeah. So if they, for example, you're out of church and they want something to eat, you buy that food and they eat. Then the same day they'll tell you, I want to go for gaming. Then you're saying, no, we can't go that today, but maybe next time
Yeah.
we can plan for that. So at least help the kid understand that too, and let them understand when it is important to budget or plan for something, and when now you can solve instantly. Because kids, or there is something we call the ego and the super ego, and mostly you find that the kids are mostly directed to use the id. They want instant gratification. They cry for a toy and you're in a supermarket, you want to buy
buying it.
unga, they want you to drop the unga and buy the toy.
Yeah.
So you say, no, you not buy this one, but next time during your birthday, we can maybe plan for that. Yeah.
Interesting. Let us go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be continuing with this amazing conversation.
Yeah.